He is not sleeping tonight. He is not scrolling mindlessly. He is sitting in silence, staring at a wall, and your name is burning a hole through his chest. This is not a metaphor. Something broke open in him, something he cannot glue back together, and what he is about to do in the next few days will shock you to your core. You clicked this video because your soul already felt the shift. You felt him before he moved. You felt the pull before the message, and you are not wrong. You are never wrong about him. But what is coming? You did not see this part coming. Before I pull back the next layer, tell me in the comments where you are watching from right now. Drop your city, drop your country. Let the universe see you are here. And if your heart is racing, hit subscribe. You are going to need every word I give you tonight. You felt it, didn't you? 3 days ago, maybe 4. Maybe it hit you in the middle of the night, and you woke up gasping like the air had changed in your room. Your chest tightened. Your thoughts went to him without permission, and you thought, why am I thinking about him right now? Because he was thinking about you, not casually, not softly, not the way a person remembers a nice dinner or a pleasant afternoon. He was thinking about you the way a drowning person thinks about oxygen, desperately, repeatedly, with his whole body screaming at him to do something, and his pride, his fear, his stubborn silence holding his jaw shut like a locked gate. But that gate is cracking now, and you need to understand what happened inside him, because what happened is irreversible. He cannot unfeel this. He cannot go back to the version of himself that pretended you were just another chapter. That man is gone. He collapsed. And what rose from that collapse is a man who is terrified, not of you, but of what you do to him, of how completely you undid every defense he spent years building. So what broke him? You want to know what finally shattered the wall he built between his heart and his mouth? It was not one big moment. It was not a fight. It was not a dramatic goodbye. It was the silence after. It was the days when you stopped reaching out. It was the night he checked his phone and saw nothing from you. No message, no reaction, no soft little sign that you were still waiting. And in that emptiness, something screamed in him so loud he could not drown it with work, with distraction, with pretending he was fine. He realized you might actually be gone, not physically, not permanently. But energetically, he felt the cord between you, that invisible, unbreakable, twin flame tether that he spent months pretending wasn't there. And for the first time, he felt it pulling from your side. He felt you releasing. And that terrified him more than anything in his life has ever terrified him. Because here is what he will never say out loud yet. He built his entire identity around being the one who leaves, the one who walks away first, the one who controls the distance. And the moment he sensed you were no longer chasing, no longer waiting with your hands open, no longer orbiting his silence like it was gravity, the ground fell out from under him. He lost his role, and without that role, he had to face you, truly face you. And what he found on the other side of that silence was a love so deep, so ancient, so familiar in his bones that it made him physically ill. You want to know what that felt like in his body? His throat closed. His stomach dropped like he missed a step in the dark. His hands went cold. And this is the part he will deny. His eyes burn, not full tears, not yet. But that hot, stinging pressure behind the eyes when a man refuses to cry because crying means admitting the truth. And the truth is this: he loves you in a way that frightens him, not the light, easy, surface love, not the kind he can walk away from and forget by Friday. This is the kind of love that lives in the marrow, the kind that wakes him up at 3 a.m. with your face behind his eyelids, the kind that makes a song in a random coffee shop hit him like a physical blow because you once hummed that melody. This is soul recognition love, twin flame love, the kind written into the contract before either of you had a body. And now that the wall is down, now that the collapse has happened, he cannot rebuild it. He has tried. In the last 48 hours, he has tried. He has told himself he is being dramatic. He has told himself he will feel differently by morning. He has put his phone face down and said, "I'm not doing this." And then 20 minutes later, he picks it back up, opens your name, reads old messages, not to respond, just to feel you. Just to press his thumb against your words and pretend, for 10 seconds, that the distance between you is not real, This is where he is right now, in this exact moment, trapped between the man who wants to stay silent and the man who is being dragged toward you by a force he cannot name. But here is what you do not yet know. Here is the part that changes everything, because the collapse was not the end. The collapse was the preparation. Something is building in him now. Something is gathering pressure like a storm that has been silent for too long. And when it breaks, and it will break, sooner than you think, it will not come as a whisper. It will come as an action so unexpected, so unlike the man you have been waiting on, that you will stare at your screen and forget to breathe. And that action, that moment, that is what I am going to reveal to you in the next chapter. Because before you can understand what he will do, you need to understand the exact signs he is already showing you. The signs in his body, the signs in his sleep, the signs in the way he moves through his day pretending he is fine, while your name is a drumbeat behind every single thought. You need to see what he is feeling right now, physically, spiritually. In the parts of himself he has never shown another living soul. And once you see it, once you truly see it, you will never doubt this connection again. You want to know what this love is doing to him physically? Because he can lie to his friends. He can lie to his coworkers. He can look in the mirror and say, "I'm fine, I moved on, it doesn't matter." He can perform indifference so convincingly that the entire world believes him. But his body is a traitor. And right now, his body is screaming your name in a language he cannot silence. It starts in the chest. Not the poetic, soft center of the heart kind of ache. No, this is lower. This is a pressure sitting directly on his sternum, like someone placed a stone there and said, "You will carry this until you speak." He feels it when he wakes up. He feels it when he is driving. He feels it in the middle of conversations when someone says a word, any word, that accidentally brushes up against a memory of you. And his breath catches. Just slightly. Just enough that if someone were watching closely, they would say, "Are you okay?" And he would say, "Yeah, just swallowed wrong." He is not swallowing wrong. He is swallowing you. He is swallowing the sentence he will not say. The confession he rehearses in the shower, in the car, in the dark with his eyes open at 2 a.m. He mouths the words. He builds the whole speech. "I need to tell you something that I..." And then he stops, swallows it back down, and the stone in his chest gets heavier. But it is not only his chest. His sleep has changed. You need to understand this. In the last week, his sleep has fractured. He is not sleeping in long, unbroken stretches anymore. He is waking up in cycles, 3 a.m., 4 a.m., sometimes just before dawn, and when he wakes, you are already there, not in a dream, not in a fading image. You are there in his awareness like you never left, like his subconscious refused to let you go even in unconsciousness. And here is the part that will make your own chest tighten. Sometimes he wakes up reaching. His hand moves across the empty side of the bed or across the empty space on the couch, and his fingers curl around nothing. And for 2 seconds, just 2, before his conscious mind catches up and reminds him you are not there, his body believes you are. His body remembers the warmth, the weight, the specific way you fit against him. And then reality crashes in, and he pulls his hand back like he touched fire. This is what a soulmate bond does to the nervous system when it is severed but not dissolved. His body is looking for you the way a compass needle looks for north. Automatically, without permission, without logic, and his appetite? Gone. Or erratic. He eats without tasting, he forgets meals. Or he eats something specific, something you once cooked, something you once pointed at in a restaurant and said, "I want that." And he orders it without realizing why. And halfway through, he sets the fork down because the taste brought your face so close he had to close his eyes. Now you are asking the question I know you are asking. If he feels all of this, why hasn't he said anything? Why is he still silent? And the answer is going to make you want to reach through this screen and hold his face in your hands because he is rehearsing every single day. Multiple times a day, he is building the moment in his mind like an architect building a bridge. He types out messages and deletes them. He opens your chat, thumbs hovering over the keyboard, and he writes 3 words, 4 words, sometimes a whole paragraph, and then he stares at it, and his thumb hovers over the send button, and his heart hammers so hard he can hear it in his ears. And he deletes it, not because he does not mean it, because he means it too much, and sending it makes it real. And if it is real, then you can reject it. And if you reject it, the last thread holding him together snaps, so he keeps it inside. He keeps it locked in his jaw, in his fists, in the way he grips the steering wheel too hard on the drive home. He keeps it in the way he opens your social media. Yes, he checks, you already knew this, and scrolls slowly, not fast. Slowly because he is not browsing, he is studying. He is looking at your face in a photo and memorizing it again. He is reading a caption and wondering if it is about him. He is looking at your story views and checking if you saw his. And when he sees that you did not watch his story, something small and sharp twists in his gut. She's letting go, he whispers to no one, and that whisper is the most terrified sound this man has ever made. But here is what is shifting. Here is the turn. Here is the thing that changes the entire trajectory of what happens next, because the rehearsing is getting shorter. The gap between typing the message and deleting it is shrinking. 3 days ago, he deleted it in 10 seconds. Yesterday, he deleted it in 20. And this morning, and I need you to hear me clearly, this morning he typed 4 words and he did not delete them. He just closed the phone, left them sitting there in the draft, unsent, but alive still there, waiting. Those 4 words are a match struck in a dark room, and matches do not stay unlit forever, because what is building behind those 4 words is not just a message. It is a confession. It is a surrender. It is the moment a man who has controlled every emotional distance in his life finally lets the dam break and floods towards you with everything he has been holding back for weeks, months, maybe longer. And when that flood comes, and it is coming, you need to understand why it is coming now. Why not last month? Why not last week? Why this week? Why these next few days? Because something spiritual just shifted. Something in the energy between you just cracked open, like a seal breaking on a door that was locked for a reason. And the universe is no longer permitting his silence. The divine timing has shifted from waiting to moving. And he can feel it pressing against his spine like a hand pushing him forward. He does not know why he feels so urgent. He does not know why today feels different from yesterday. But his soul knows. His higher self knows. And his higher self is done negotiating with his fear. And what his higher self is about to force him to do, that is what I am going to tell you next. The secret thoughts, the silent behaviors, the things he is doing in the shadows that he would die before admitting to you face to face, the way he is watching you, the way he is preparing for you, the way he is already, in his mind, standing in front of you with his armor on the floor. You are not ready for how vulnerable he is about to become, but you will be. You want to know what he does when the world stops looking? Because there is a version of him that no one sees, not his friends, not his family, not the coworkers who clap him on the shoulder and say, "You good, man?" And he nods and says, "Yeah, just tired." That version is a mask, a carefully constructed performance of a man who is unaffected, unbothered, moving forward. And then there is the other version, the version that exists at 11:47 p.m., when the apartment is quiet and the phone screen is the only light on his face. The version that pulls up your number not to call, not to text, just to look at your name, just to press his thumb against it and feel for one electric second the possibility of you, the aliveness of the connection, the fact that somewhere in this city, in this world, in this timeline, you exist, you are breathing, you are real, and you are not his, not yet, not right now, and that not yet is eating him alive. He puts the phone down. Pick it up again. Put it down. Pick it up. This cycle has repeated every night for over a week, and he hates himself for it, and he cannot stop. But here is the secret he would never tell another living soul. He talks to you, out loud, in empty rooms, not in a dramatic cinematic monologue. No, it is quieter than that, sadder. He is washing dishes, or folding a shirt, or sitting in his parked car after work with the engine off, and he whispers, "I should have said it differently," or "I should not have walked away that night," or sometimes just your name, spoken into the silence like a prayer he does not believe will be answered but cannot stop saying. He is rehearsing his apology, his explanation, his surrender. And he is rehearsing it not for an audience. He is rehearsing it for you. Because in his mind, you are already sitting across from him, and he is trying to find the words that will make you understand, that will make you stay, that will make you look at him the way you used to look at him before the silence got too loud. And this is where it gets deeper. This is where the hidden truth sharpens its edge, because it is not only your name, he whispers. It is the memories, he replays them. Surgically, he goes back to specific moments, not the big ones, not the dates or the declarations, but the small ones. The Tuesday afternoon you laughed at something stupid he said, and your head tipped back and your throat was exposed, and he thought, I could spend forever watching her do that. The night you fell asleep on his shoulder, and your breathing slowed, and he did not move for 40 minutes, because moving would mean the moment ended. The time you handed him a cup of coffee without asking how he took it because you already knew, and that small act of knowing undid him in a way he could not explain then and can barely explain now. He replays these moments like a man studying scripture, searching for the exact point where he went wrong, the exact sentence where he pulled away, the exact second he chose fear over you. And he finds it. Every time he finds it, and every time the finding cuts him. I did that, he thinks. I chose my fear over her, and she is still. And he stops, because the thought is too large, because the thought is, she is still the most important thing, and I threw that away, and I might not get it back. And that last part, that I might not get it back, that is the thought that is driving everything now. That is the engine behind the urgency, behind the pressure building in his chest, behind the way he checks your profile one more time before bed, not with curiosity, but with grief. The grief of a man watching something precious slip through his fingers in slow motion. He sees your posts, he sees your stories, and he studies them not for information but for feeling. He is looking for you in them, the real you, the you behind the smile in the photo. And he wonders, is she okay? Is she actually okay? Or is she performing for the world the way I am? And when he cannot tell, when your face in the picture looks calm, composed, distant, something in him panics. Because calm means you might be healing, and healing means moving forward, and moving forward means moving past him. And the thought of being in your past, truly, permanently in your past, is the thing that will break his silence, not pride, not stubbornness, not the comfort of distance, the terror of becoming a memory you no longer reach for. And this terror is not abstract. It is not philosophical. It is sitting in his body right now like a cold hand around his lungs. It is the reason he cannot sleep past 4 a.m. It is the reason he flinches when his phone buzzes and it is not you. It is the reason he drives past places you used to go together, and his hands tighten on the wheel and his jaw locks so hard his teeth ache. He is not over you. He was never over you. He was under you, buried under you, crushed by the weight of a love he did not know how to carry. So he set it down and walked away and pretended his hands were empty. But his hands are not empty. They never were. They are full of you. They have always been full of you. And he is so tired of pretending they are not. And here is the question that is going to unlock the next layer. The question you are feeling in your gut right now, the one you have been afraid to ask because the answer might confirm what you already suspect. What is he most afraid of? What is the one fear so large, so paralyzing, that it has kept him frozen all this time? Because it is not rejection. Not exactly. It is something deeper than rejection. Something older. Something that lives in the root of him, in the place where all his unworthiness coils up like a sleeping serpent. And once you understand that fear, once you see it clearly, the way I am about to show it to you, you will understand why his next move will be so cautious, so fragile, so unlike the bold, dramatic gesture you might be expecting. Because the man who is coming toward you is not coming as a warrior. He is coming as a man with his hands open and his throat exposed. And what could terrify him more than that? What is he most afraid of? You think it is rejection. You think the thing keeping him frozen, the thing that makes him type 4 words and close the phone, the thing that locks his jaw at 2 a.m. when your name fills his mind like floodwater. You think it is the fear that you will say no, that you will read his message and feel nothing, that you will look at his vulnerability and turn away. And yes, That fear exists. It is real. It is sharp, but it is not the deepest one. The deepest fear, the one that lives beneath rejection, beneath silence, beneath every excuse he has built to justify his distance, is this: he is afraid you will say yes, and then he will have to be enough. Ride that again. Let it settle into your chest. He is not afraid you will push him away. He is afraid you will pull him close, and he will stand there in your arms, fully seen, fully chosen, fully wanted, and he will not know how to stay. He is afraid that the man you love is a version of him he cannot sustain, that if you let him in, truly in, past the performance, past the armor, past the carefully curated silence, you will find the mess underneath. The boy who learned that love leaves. The man who was taught that needing someone is weakness. The soul that has been running from intimacy since before he had words for it. And if you see that, if you see all of it, the cracks, the flinching, the way he does not know how to be soft without feeling like he is dying, and you stay, that terrifies him more than any goodbye ever could, because a goodbye confirms his story. See, everyone leaves. I was right to protect myself, but you staying? You staying after he shows you everything? That destroys every lie he has built his life around. And destroying those lies means rebuilding, and rebuilding means being vulnerable every single day. And he does not know if he knows how, so he hesitates. Not because he does not want you, because he wants you so much it is consuming him. And wanting you this much means that if he fails, if he fumbles this, if he says the wrong thing, if he freezes when you look at him with those eyes that see straight through his performance, the loss will be total, not partial, not recoverable, total. And that is why his hands shake when he thinks about reaching out. That is why he rehearses the words 17 times and still deletes them. That is why he sits in his car outside his apartment building for 20 minutes before going inside. Because inside means silence, and silence means thinking about you. And thinking about you means confronting the fact that he almost lost the one thing his soul was sent here to find. He feels unworthy of you. There, I said it. The thing he will never say to your face but is screaming in every cell of his body. He looks at you, even your photo, even your name on his screen, and he thinks, she is too much for me. She is too good, too deep, too real, and I am, and he stops. Because the sentence ends in a wound he has not healed. But here is the turn. Here is where the story bends, because the universe does not care about his fear. The universe does not negotiate with unworthiness. The cosmos does not pause the timeline of a soul contract because one human man is afraid of being seen. And right now, in this exact window of days, in this exact breath of cosmic timing, the spiritual pressure behind him is becoming unbearable. You felt it. You felt the shift 3-4 days ago. That sudden jolt. That waking up with his name in your mouth, that synchronicity where you saw his name on a stranger's shirt, or heard a song that was yours, or looked at the clock at 11:11, 2:22s, 4:44, and felt a pull so strong it was almost physical. That was not random. That was the energetic cord between you tightening. That was the universe saying, the separation phase is ending, the lesson is complete, the silence has served its purpose, now move. And he felt it too. He felt it as restlessness, as agitation, as a sudden inability to focus on work, on conversations, on anything that is not you. He felt it as a pressure behind his ribs, a hum in his ears, a sense that time is compressing, that the window is narrowing, that if he does not move now, the energy shifts again and the door that is open will close. Not forever, but long enough to break him. His higher self is screaming at him, not gently, not with whispers, with force. With the kind of internal pressure that makes a man sit up in bed at 3 a.m. and say, what am I doing? With the kind of spiritual urgency that makes every distraction feel hollow, every conversation feel surface level, every moment not spent moving toward you feel like a waste of life, and karma is involved. You need to understand this. This is not just emotion. This is not just a man having feelings. This is a soul contract reaching its fulfillment point. You and he agreed to this, before bodies, before names, before this lifetime. You agreed to the separation so that both of you would be forced into your own awakening, so that he would be broken open by your absence, so that you would be forged in the fire of your own worth without him. And both of those lessons are complete. You have done your work. He has done his. And the contract now demands reunion, not because you chased it, not because you manifested it, not because you lit candles or pulled cards or whispered affirmations into the dark, because the timing arrived. Because the spiritual law governing twin flames, governing soulmate bonds, governing every sacred connection written in the stars before you had lungs to breathe. That law says, when both souls have learned what separation came to teach, the pull becomes irresistible. The distance becomes unsustainable. The silence becomes louder than any words ever spoken, and the silence is deafening now, for both of you. But for him it is becoming unbearable. An unbearable silence does not stay silent. It breaks, it shatters, it explodes outward in a way that surprises even the person creating the sound. And that explosion, that shattering, that first crack of light through the wall he built, it is not going to come as a grand speech. It is not going to come as a paragraph of perfectly crafted words. It is going to come small, cautious, fragile, a single message, a single sentence, maybe even a single word. But behind that word will be everything, every night of rehearsing, every deleted draft, every whispered apology in an empty room, every time his thumb hovered over your name and his heart hammered like a fist against a locked door. And when that word lands on your screen, and it will land soon, sooner than your anxious mind dares to believe, you need to know how to receive it. You need to know what to do with your energy in these final hours before it arrives. Because how you hold yourself in this window will shape everything that follows. And I am going to tell you exactly how to stand in your power, exactly what to release, exactly what to not do, because the next move is his. But the energy you carry while you wait, that is yours, and it matters more than you know. How will it happen? You have been asking this in the dark. You have been asking this while staring at your ceiling at 1 a.m. You have been asking this while checking your phone for the 100th time and finding nothing, and feeling that cold drop in your stomach like a stone falling into deep water. How? How will he come back? What will it look like? Will I recognize it? Will I be ready? You will recognize it, but it will not look the way you expect. He is not going to send a paragraph. He is not going to write you a letter. He is not going to show up at your door with flowers and a speech he practiced in the mirror. That is not who he is right now. That is not where the energy is. Because the energy is fragile. The energy is a man standing at the edge of a cliff, toes curled over the stone, wind pushing at his back, and all he can do is whisper before he jumps. The first contact will be small, a message, short, maybe 3 words, maybe 4, maybe just your name with a question mark, maybe a reaction to a story you posted, maybe a text that looks casual, looks light, looks like he is testing the water with one careful toe before he commits his whole body to the current. Hey, you up? I've been thinking. Can I call you? And your first instinct, the instinct born from weeks of silence, from the ache of waiting, from the nights you cried into your pillow, wondering if he even remembered you existed. Your first instinct will be to feel disappointed, to think, that's it? After everything? That's all he can say? But you must understand what is behind those 3 words, 4 words. Whatever small, trembling offering lands on your screen, behind that message is a man who typed it 11 times before sending it, who held his breath when he pressed send, who set his phone face down immediately after because he cannot watch the screen. He cannot see whether you read it. He cannot see the little check marks turning blue. He cannot bear the 2 seconds, the 5 seconds, the 30 seconds of not knowing, so he walks away from the phone, puts it in another room, turns on the television without watching it, and waits, and his heart is in his throat, not metaphorically, physically. His pulse is in his neck. His palms are damp. His stomach is a knot he cannot untie, because in that small message he has handed you a blade. He has said without saying, here, I am still yours if you want me, and you can cut me with this if you choose. That is what those 3 words cost him. That is what that tiny, seemingly casual message contains. An entire surrender compressed into a whisper. And if you do not respond immediately, and I will tell you in the next chapter why you should not respond immediately, he will spiral. Not visibly, not dramatically, but internally the spiral will begin. She's not answering. She's angry. She's moved on. I was a fool. I should not have sent it. I should not have. And then his phone lights up, and your name is on the screen. And whatever you say, even if it is just hi, will make him exhale so deeply his shoulders drop 2 inches, will make him close his eyes, will make him press his palm flat against his chest like he is physically holding his heart in place. Because you answered, you did not disappear. You did not punish him with silence the way he punished you. And that mercy, that small, quiet grace of a response, will crack something else open in him, something that has been sealed shut for even longer than the first wall. And then the messages will come faster, not immediately, not in a flood, but the rhythm will shift. Within hours, maybe a day, he will send something longer, something that is not casual, something that has weight, a sentence that starts with, I need to tell you something, or I've been wanting to say this, or you deserve to know the truth about why and he will not finish it in the text. He will start it, and then he will stop, and he will say, can I call you? Can we talk? Can I see you? Because he cannot do this in writing. He cannot confess in typed words on a glowing screen. He needs your voice. He needs to hear you breathe. He needs to know in real time whether you are still there, whether the warmth is still in your tone, whether the door is open or whether he arrived too late. And that question, can I see you? That is the hinge. That is the moment everything pivots. Because once you say yes, once you agree to the call, the meeting, the face-to-face, the spiritual energy between you locks in. The reunion timeline activates. The universe says, yes, now. This is the moment, and he will feel that lock-in. He will feel it as a sudden calm after the storm, as a quiet settling in his chest, as the first full breath he has taken in weeks, because the decision is made. The direction is set. The running is over. But before that message lands, before those 3 or 4 small words appear on your screen and set this entire sequence into motion, there is something you must do, something you must stop doing, something in your energy, in your field, in the way you are holding this connection right now, that is either accelerating his arrival or accidentally pushing it further away. And this is not about manipulation. This is not about games. This is about the energetic law that governs all soul connections. The one who chases creates distance. The one who stands still creates gravity. And right now, you need to become gravity. You need to become so rooted, so full, so magnetically still in your own worth that his soul has no choice but to fall toward you like a stone falls toward the earth. Not because you called him, not because you signaled him, but because your energy became so undeniably real that his could not stay away. And I am going to tell you exactly how to do that, exactly what to release, exactly where to place your focus in these final hours. Because the way you hold yourself now will determine not just whether he reaches out, but how he reaches out, what he says, how fast he moves, how fully he surrenders when he finally stands in front of you. This is your power, and it is time you remembered you had it. What do you do now? Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, in this breath, in this window between the silence and the sound, because the way you carry yourself in these final hours is not passive. It is not waiting. It is not sitting by the phone and shrinking. It is the most active, the most powerful thing you will do in this entire connection. You stop reaching, not out of punishment, not out of strategy, not because you are playing a game. You stop reaching because your energy is no longer his to chase. Your energy belongs to you now, to your body, to your breath, to the life you are building with your own 2 hands. Regardless of whether he is standing in it or not, you put the phone down, not face up, staring at it, not face down, pretending you don't care. You put it in another room. You walk outside. You feel the air on your skin. You feel the ground under your feet. You breathe until your ribs expand fully for the first time in days. And you say out loud to the empty room, to the sky, to the universe that is listening, I am whole without him. I am not waiting. I am living. And if he is meant for me, he will find me here, standing, full, unshaken. And the moment you mean it, the moment those words are not performance but truth in your marrow, something shifts in the field between you. He feels it. He feels you stop pulling. He feels the energetic cord go slack on your side, not severed, but released. And that release creates a vacuum, a gravitational pull so strong that his soul lurches toward you like a compass needle snapping north. You do not chase. You attract, you become the flame, and he becomes the moth. And no amount of fear, no amount of pride, no amount of rehearsed silence can stop a moth from flying toward the only light it has ever known. This is your power. This has always been your power. And he is about to feel the full weight of it. And when he comes, and he is coming, the message is already forming. The words are already sitting in his throat like a bird ready to fly. When he comes, it will start cautious, careful. A small message, a testing of the water, and you will respond with warmth but not desperation. With openness, but not collapse. You will let him come to you step by step. You will let him earn the ground between you. Not because you are cruel, because his soul needs to walk this path, needs to choose you actively, needs to close the distance with his own feet so that when he finally stands in front of you, he knows, in his body, in his bones, that he chose this, that he walked towards you, that he did not fall into you by accident, and the call, or the meeting, the face-to-face, and you need to understand what that moment will look like because it will not be what you expect. It will not be smooth. It will not be rehearsed. It will be raw. He will see you. And for 3 seconds, he will not speak. His mouth will open, close, open again. His eyes will do that thing, that slight widening, that glistening, where the mask slips and you see the boy underneath, the scared, aching, full boy who has been carrying your name in his chest like a lit match he refuses to blow out. And then he will say something, not a speech, not a monologue, something small and shattered. Maybe, "I'm sorry. Maybe I didn't know how to. Maybe just, I missed you. God, I missed you." And his voice will crack on the word, not perform. Crack. Break open like a fault line finally giving way. And his hands. Watch his hands. They will not know what to do. They will clench at his sides, open, clench again, reach toward you and pull back, reach again. Because every instinct in him wants to touch you, to close the space, to press his palm against your cheek and confirm you are real. But he is asking permission with his body before his mouth can form the words. Can I? Are you still mine to hold? Did I lose that right? And you will look at him, and you will not need to say anything. Your eyes will say it. Your stillness will say it. The fact that you did not run. The fact that you are here. The fact that your hand reaches up and touches his wrist, his jaw, his chest, wherever it lands, and he breaks not loudly, not with sobs, but with a long shuddering exhale, like he has been holding his breath for months. Like his entire body was a clenched fist and your touch was the word open, and his shoulders drop, his forehead drops, maybe onto your shoulder, maybe into his hands, and he breathes you in, and he whispers something you almost cannot hear, something like, "I was so scared. I was so scared you'd be gone," and you will hold him, not because he deserves it, not because you owe him forgiveness before he earns it, but because your soul recognizes his, because beneath the hurt, beneath the silence, beneath the weeks of distance, there is a bond that predates your bodies, a soul contract written in fire and starlight. And this moment is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of the real one. And after this, after the tears, after the whispered confessions, after the long silence where you both just exist in the same space and let the energy resettle, everything changes, not overnight, not perfectly. He will not become a different man by morning, but the dynamic shifts, the power rebalances, because he has seen your strength, he has felt your stillness. He has walked into the room knowing you could have turned away, and you did not. And that mercy, that grace, that quiet power, it rewrites his understanding of who you are. You are not the one who waits. You are not the one who needs him to feel complete. You are the one who chose him from a place of fullness. And that changes everything. He will be more present, more careful, more deliberate with his words. Not because you demanded it, because he saw what almost happened. He felt the edge. He stood at the place where too late lived, and he walked back from it. And a man who has stared at the void of losing you does not take the next day for granted. The separation phase is over. The lesson is complete. The fire did its work. The storm broke what needed breaking. And what stands now, what is being rebuilt in the space between you, is not the same fragile thing that existed before. It is stronger. It is chosen. It is built by two people who walked through the dark alone and found their way back not by accident, but by soul. And you need to hear this. You need to let this land in your chest like a hand steadying your heart. You did not lose him. You never lost him. The distance was not abandonment. The silence was not erasure. It was preparation. It was the universe pulling you apart so that when you came back together, the coming together would be conscious, intentional, unshakable. You were not forgotten. You were not replaced. You were not one option among many. You were the one, the singular. The soul his soul was carved to recognize, and no amount of time, no amount of fear, no amount of human stubbornness could overwrite that truth. He loves you, not in the way that fades, not in the way that dims when life gets loud. He loves you in the way that is written into the architecture of his being, the way that exists whether he speaks it or not, the way that pulled him out of his silence, out of his fear, out of his small and careful life and toward you. And what he is about to do, the message, the call, the showing up, the breaking open. It is not a maybe. It is not a possibility. It is a certainty. The energy has shifted. The timing has arrived. The contract demands it. And his soul is already in motion, even if his hands are still shaking, even if the words are still sitting unsent in his drafts. It is coming. You will feel it before you see it. A shift in your chest, a sudden calm, a knowing that settles over you like warm water. And then the phone will light up, and his name will be there, and you will look at it, and you will breathe, and you will smile. Not because you won, not because you were right, but because the universe kept its promise, because the bond held, because what is written in the soul cannot be unwritten by fear. You are chosen, you are seen, you are loved in a way that transcends this single lifetime, and very, very soon. Sooner than your anxious heart dares to believe, he is going to prove it. Close your eyes, breathe, and trust what is already in motion. The storm is over, the silence is breaking, and he is coming home.